हरि ओम। ओम सहना ववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। स्मृति स्मृति पुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयम् नमामि भगवत्पादम् शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम् शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणम् सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयम् नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। ॐ श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। हरि ओम। We are in the discussions of Brahma Sutra, Shankara Bhashya, first Adhyaya, first Adhikarana called Samanvaya Adhikarana, Chaturtha Sutra Tattu Samanvayat. The biggest difficulty or the greatest difficulty that one gets in understanding Brahma or the ultimate reality is inability of our own self to even imagine. And when I say imagine, imagination is a faculty of mind which knows no bounds. You can imagine instantly a supernova in some galaxy which is billions of light years away. Imagination travels at a speed which is beyond description. Yet, the imagination completely falls flat when we try to imagine Brahma, the ultimate reality. Why? The entire scope of imagination of a human being is delimited by the experience and extrapolation of the experience made available by the sense organs. My eyes are used to see the object. Now just imagine, are we aware of any other indriya that can see other than the eye? We suddenly find ourselves helpless in thinking, I am seeing an object, but not through my eyes. Is it possible? I'm hearing about a particular instrument, but not through my ears. Possible? There is an object of eating not anywhere close in my vicinity. So it has not touched my tongue, but I'm testing it. Is it possible? In other words, we are even limited by imagination as far as sense organs and its capacities are concerned. We cannot perceive even as an imagination. Let's take an example. Let's say the whole body, on the entire skin, there are multiple eyes. There are about 1,000 eyes on the body. The leg has two eyes. Everywhere there are eyes, and they are watching the world. In this imagination also, we put the same eye and implanted it everywhere. Even in this imagination, we cannot say which eye will see what and what is the perception. See the limitations of imaginations. We simply cannot imagine any perception other than the sense organs. And to conclude that that which I cannot perceive through the sense organs doesn't exist, won't it be too much of an overstatement? A blind person says, I can't see the mountain. And the person who has a vision, he says that, oh, you do not see, but I can see. You are unable to see. I am able to see. So there is a difference in the perception through sight. You have no indriya to perceive the sight. I have the indriya to perceive the sight. Now imagine a person who has perceptions which is not bound by these sense organs. He has another sense organ which we don't know, and he's perceiving something. How will he interact with us? That interaction will be similar to a person with vision and a person without a vision. What a beautiful mountain Himalayas are. What kind of snow, the shine, the sun rays are falling on the top of the Mount Everest, how the whole Himalayas is looking. All these descriptions are fruitless and useless for a person without sight. Similarly, the person who is beyond the senses and yet has perceived something. First of all, the first question that comes to the mind is, can it be called perception? Perception is a method by which an individual comes to know about the objects through the sense organs. So it is completely an ossified or a fixed thing that a perceiver has to be there, the object to perceive has to be there, and the instrument of perception called indriya has to be there. That is our standard process of knowledge gathering. All perceptions and cognitions are essentially supposed to flow from the perceiver, pramatru or pramata, with the help of his sense organs, prama, for the sake of jnana or the knowledge, while perceiving an object. That is how we have been leading our life. Can we ever think of a perception which does not involve any of the five sense organs and yet you are perceiving? That will be super sensuous perception. First of all, it will be super sensuous easy to understand. None of the five indriyas are involved. So it is super sensuous, beyond the senses. Atindriya, not indriya, atindriya. Super sensuous. But will it be called as a perception? What will we call that as? We cannot call it by any name because it is not the sensuous perception. So that which is through senses is perception. That which is without senses, super sensuous, is called as, and we have no word. Perhaps you can say it is non-perceiving perception. That becomes an oxymoron. Perceptionless perception, experienceless experience. This is maximum stretching that one can do for the words, jugglery of the words to describe that. Frankly speaking, it is indescribable simply because sense organs and its activities are the only thing for which we have labels or a title. Super sensuous thing has no title because that is not comparable to sensuous perception. I got some knowledge without the help of any of the indriyas. But for the knowledge, cognition, you require indriya. There has to be a person who got the knowledge. There has to be an object whose knowledge you got. When the indriyas themselves are not existing, then can the separation between perceiver and the object be there? Perceiver, object, and connecting link. So what is absent in supersensuous perception? Is the object absent, perceiver absent, or perception absent? Or is it that the perceiver, perception, and the medium of perception all are merged into one? Me as a perceiver, as a subject, I have to be different and separate from the object to perceive. I cannot perceive an object if me and the object are same. Can I perceive myself? I don't need to perceive myself. I am. I am not other. I am myself. Myself I am. So I don't need to perceive myself because I am itself is my perception. When all the objects in the world are in me, whom will I perceive? For me to perceive, for me to know, that which is to be known has to be away from me. I am the clay, I am the pot, and I am the dust. How can I perceive pot differently? I have to be different than the clay, than the dust, than the pot. The clay, the mud, and the pot is all same. That particle of dust which became clay, then which became mud, then which became pot, is the same particle that is there present everywhere. So for that particle to perceive the pot is not possible. The person who perceives the pot has to be different than the pot. See the difference in perceiving or difference in understanding the reality. When we use the word perceiving reality, understanding reality, because we don't have any other word, because our perception is through indriyas, so we also use the word for that reality, but it is not a perception. Because that which is not through indriyas cannot be perception. It has to be something like, it cannot be sensuous because it is super sensuous. So it cannot be perception. It has to be something beyond perception, super perception. Then comes the second difficulty. What do the eyes do? They see. What do the ears do? They hear. What does the nose do? It smells. And the tongue tastes. And the skin touches. Now imagine something in this world which has no taste, no presence, no noise, no sound. What will the sense organs do? Anything and everything in this world has to have one attribute which can be felt or perceived by one of the sense organs. But just for the sake of imagination, suppose there is an object which has no taste, no smell, no citable existence. What will the sense organs do? They will fail. First of all, would there be any object of that kind which has no taste, which has no smell, which has no touch perception, which cannot be sighted, which cannot be heard? Such object is ultimate reality or Brahma. Now, two of the scariest, frightening imaginations that one can do in Vedanta is, one is the whole universe is existing, there is no one except me. It's very frightening. There is no one. I am the only one. It breaks all the boundaries of imagination of stars, light, darkness, sun, moon, myself, love, affection, child, family, water, earth, mountains, snow. All those differentiations are melted because I am the only one. I am the only one means, who are you? Are you the mountain? No. Are you the sun? No. Are you the star? No. Are you this? No. Are you that? No. Then who are you? I am the only one. Imagination gets fatigued. It scares to know that, oh, I am the only one. No one is present. And no one means not the other person. No stars, no sky, no time, no water. It is most difficult in the world to imagine nothingness. This nothingness is a negative connotation by Buddhist, a positive connotation by the Vedanti. The Vedanta says that I am the only one. Ekam eva advitiyam. No other second person there. And the study is how to know that. Why Brahma Sutra is difficult? Why Upanishads are difficult? Because that which is supersensuous is being tried for the sake of understanding through the senses. Because what is understanding? What is mind? It is also Indriya. We are trying to grapple with supersensuous with the help of senses. If I make a statement that I am trying to catch on to the dryness with my wet hands, I want to catch hold of the water which is not wet. I want to catch hold of the fire which is not hot. How difficult it is. Almost, not almost, impossible. To that extent is the task of knowing Brahma. A gargantuan task of understanding and holding on to supersensuous through senses. Senses can't reach there, yet I do not have anything other than senses to reach there. This process of reaching to supersensuous with the help of senses, by making an ascent on the senses, then jerking off the senses and entering into supersensuous, is the process of, again, is the process of, further we cannot say, because if I say process of understanding, it is not understanding. A process of perceiving Brahma, no, because it is not perception. A process of knowing Brahma, no, because Brahman is not to be known. Then what is it? It can only be described as when everything that is sensuous is dropped, what remains is that. In other words, do you really go and achieve a state of supersensuousness, or do you remove yourself from the sensuous state? A person wants to become naked. He doesn't become naked. He removes only the clothes. And the moment the clothes are removed, what happens? He's naked. Did he obtain the nakedness? No, it was there. Did he manufacture or produce the nakedness? No. All he did was removed the clothes. Similarly, supersensuous state or Brahma or the ultimate reality is not something which you really obtain, get, understand, know. Discard what you know, discard all sensuous things, discard, and it is there. And the process of discarding requires an action. Process of removing clothes requires an action of unbuttoning the shirt and then taking out the shirt. It requires action. Becoming naked does not require action. The moment you complete the action of removing the clothes, you are naked. Similarly, moment you remove what needs to be removed through the karma, Brahmanubhuti is there. But general perception of us is, in order to become naked, I had to remove my clothes. We say that I have to do this kriya of removing clothes, karma, to become naked. No. This is the controversy. This is the subject in Tattu Samanvayat. You sit in meditation, you stop all your sensuous interaction because you're now traveling towards super sensuous. So you have to first stop the sensuous interactions. Stopping sensuous interaction is vairagya. First is the decision that I must know Brahma. All this, what I am right now doing, is not Brahma. It is not ultimate reality. It is something which is full of misery and sorrow. So I have to do something whereby I get out of this samsara and become shoka nash avastha prapta. Shoka rahitya, ananda prapti is what I want. Whether it is a prapti or not, that is a different question. Moment this thought comes to the mind and it gets ingrained in the mind, viveka is done. Moment viveka is done, that which is not helping me to achieve the supersensuous or the Brahma should be discarded, is vairagya. So first thing is, anything that has to do with the senses has to be stopped, because now the ascent is towards supersensuous. If the flight is to be taken into the space, you will have to leave the earth. And when such a ascent is ready for supersensuous, the process of leaving the earth, the process of discarding the senses is karma. Reaching the moon is not karma. That happens after you leave the earth, take a flight. Leaving the earth is vairagya. Taking the flight is upasana, which includes meditation. But after reaching the moon, nothing is to be done. Discard the rocket, discard the flight. Earth is anyway discarded. In fact, all that is done to achieve Brahma automatically dries and casts off like a fallen leaf after Brahma Jnana. No Veda, no Upanishad, no Vedanta, nothing. Everything drops off. All instruments of the surgery of the surgeon are completely thrown away for washing after the surgery is done. Till the surgery is being made, all of them are extremely important. The scalpel, the knife, the forceps, everything, the mop, everything is important. The moment the surgery is over, the instrument have to be discarded. Similarly, karma has to be done as an essential instrument for going from sensuous to supersensuous. However, reaching supersensuous is not karma. Reaching supersensuous is something which is ever present. You will not be rediscovering anything. When we learn 2 plus 2 is equal to 4 in our school, for me it is a new discovery. No, 2 plus 2 is already existing. We do not need a Newton to know the law of gravity. He demonstrated the law of gravity. Gravity was already existing. What he did something whereby he found out that this is existing. So we do something whereby we find out that Brahma is the ultimate reality. We don't really produce it, obtain it, to explain the same thing. Brahma Sutra, Shankaracharya Maharaj further says, no apurva in moksha prapti. What is apurva? In all our karma, where our sense organs are involved, there is an action done, then there is a gap, and there is a fruit thereof. Karma, adrushta or apurva, and phalam. Point A is when you do some karma. Point B is somewhere you get the phalam of it. Every karma has to have phalam. There is no karma without phalam. If every karma has phalam, then after doing the karma, when does the phalam come? It may come instantaneously. You touch your finger to the burning coal, immediately you get it. Still, between the touching and getting the burning sensation, there is a microsecond. There is some kalavadhi. Some kala avadhi has to be there. Or it could be many births. Every single act I do, every karma that I do has to have phalam. In the entire cosmos or universe, I am not alone. I am one of the constituents of the entire universe. So everything that I do, everything that is being done by me has repercussions on the entire universe. Now, this appears very ridiculous for a person of science. He says that these Karmavadi and so-called Vedanti, etc., they talk about how can what I do, what will it have an effect in America? Sir, it is not so. Every action done by this composite body, Bhuta Sangha, is actually nothing. What is karma? Karma is nothing but doing an action. Analyzed in a deeper manner on the scale of physics, it is nothing else but movement of some electrons, some protons, some neutrons, some subatomic particles. Collectively, it may be called as a hand which has moved and stretched and got something in the hand. For us, I stretched my hand and caught hold of a particular object. This is a crude description. Ask a physicist and he will say, no, no, no. It is just the movement of certain electrons, protons. And all these subatomic particles, they do exist in a wave form as well as particle form. It is called the classical duality of quantum physics. Nothing ever. Quantum physics is one dimension that is coming absolutely closer to Vedanta. Nothing in this world is existing in one form. It is either in particle form or in wave form, depends upon the observer. When things are not observed or acted upon, it is in both the form, dual form, particle wave, particle wave. Either it is particle or it is wave. What it is exactly depends upon the observer. Moment you observe, it is either particle or wave. If that is the nature of all subatomic particles with which this universe is made, the aggregate of that particular movement may be my action, moving my hands and whatever. But actually what is happening is subatomic particles are just either in the process of a particular movement in the wave form or in the particle form. This great truth of quantum duality is expressed in a very simple three words: tad ejati, tad na ejati. It vibrates and it does not vibrate. And the second part of that is extremely important. When it vibrates or moves here, it also has impact on its counterpart, which could be billions of lights year away. It may sound ridiculous, but it is the truth on which the Nobel Prize has been awarded. More than 3 Nobel Prizes have gone for this theory, which is called quantum entanglement, where in simple words, in a crude words, it says if an electron or if subatomic particle is affected here, then its counterpart, which may be lying in some supernova or black hole, also gets affected simultaneously there, which completely breaks down the Einstein's theory that the fastest speed that we can achieve is the speed of light, which is not true. Instantaneous involvement of subatomic particle here and some other particle, its counterpart billions of light years away. This again comes into the same mantra. Tad dure, tad antike. Tad dure, tad antike. Tad ejati, tad na ejati. Tad dure, tad antike. Tadu sarvasya antarasya sarvasya bahyasya cha. What it means is, everything that we do as a karma has a counterpart which is called phalam. That may come into fruition immediately after many births. There has to be some time between karma and the phala. That time gap in which it carries the fruit in some subtle form is called apurva or adrushta. Why we are trying to see this is because, is the Brahma Prapti also something similar, that today I sit for Upasana or Dhyana Samadhi and after some time I got Brahma? No. Acharya says no. Karma has got Adrushta or Apurva or time gap for Phalam, but Brahma Jnanam is not at all a karma. So there is no Adrushta. It is instantaneous. So first of all, karma has to have a phalam. Brahma Prapti is not phalam. 2, karma after sometimes gives phalam. Brahma Prapti has got nothing like that. It is ever existing right there, everywhere, within you, within everything. Nakedness is always there with everybody. Only the clothes are to be removed. However, we describe like this: after removing the clothes, the nakedness comes out. No, nakedness was there. It was shrouded by the clothes. You did only the karma of removing the clothes. Nakedness is not karma. Nakedness is always present. Similarly, and why I am using the word nakedness is, in Kathopanishada, there is a rucha which says Tanuswam Pradarshiyate, as if somebody has shown his or her body bare. Brahma shows itself as bare. What it means by Lakshanartha is, Mukti, Moksha, Brahma Prapti is ever available thing. Karma is something which hastens us to reach there. Mount Everest is always existing. Mountaineering is a process to reach there. Mountaineering does not produce Mount Everest. That is why once that feeling or once that Brahmadhyan, once that ultimate reality is perceived, what happens? Instantaneously, all the operation of senses lose their ability to act as individual-centric action. Person, when he ultimately reaches supersensuous or the Brahma, for him, all the senses of all the creation are his. Now imagine I am sitting. If I am sitting, nothing will happen to me. When I have a feeling that something else or somebody else is present, that means unless I distinguish myself from others, action is not possible. But when I come to know that all that is there is me, where will be the action? Are we every day remembering that my red blood cell is moving in my body? No. It is moving in the body, but I am not aware of it. But is it not moving in my body? It is moving in the muscle cell, the bone cell, the blood cell, the kidney cell. All of them are inside my body, working continuously, having individual entities. Their work is happening, whatever they are doing. They are all in me. But am I the red blood cell? No. Am I kidney cell? No. But doesn't kidney cell and red blood cell make me? Yes. My overall outlook towards the cells of my body is of non-difference. Yeah, they're there. They're having their functions. They must be doing something. I don't have to be aware of what they are doing. Same situation when all the minds and all the bodies and all everything becomes one, Brahma, what will happen? Karma will not happen. Because all the gradients of karma are gone. If there are no two, how can karma happen? That is why Kshiyante cha asya karmani tasmin drushti paravare. The one who has seen the Brahman, all the karmas get dissolved. Dissolved means it is inability to perform the karma. The karma word, karma trace also is gone because the very factors required for karma are no more existing. That is why yajna adi karma are done for the sake of phalam. We do abhyasa for the sake of phalam. We do sadhana for the sake of phalam. We do upasana for the sake of phalam. Brahma Prapti is not kriya, not phalam. Then why do we do meditation? If meditation is not the prapti, it is not giving the prapti of moksha, why are we? No. Meditation gives its phalam in the form of dropping off of all the bondages. That is the phalam, not Brahma Prapti. Removing the clothes, what is the phalam? Dropping off the clothes. Nakedness is not phalam. Nakedness is always existing there. Seeing the sun is not the phalam of removing the clouds. Removing the clouds is an action. Phalam is removal of cloud. Blowing of wind is karma. Removal of cloud is phalam. Surya is always there. In the same manner, moksha pratibandha nivrutti matram evam atmajnanasya phalam. The phalam for atmajnana is moksha pratibandha nivrutti. That which was stopping me from visualizing, from realizing, from perceiving, from understanding, all these words are simply only for understanding Brahma. Tatha cha acharya pranitam nyaya upabruhitam sutram. See, the study of all the darshanas is must. Chaturdasha vidyasthana abhyasa is a must while studying the Brahma Sutra. Acharya now is using Nyaya Darshana Acharya. His name was Gautama Acharya. So Gautama Acharya in Nyaya Darshana has given one sutra called Dukkha Janma Pravrutti Dosha Mithya Jnananam Uttara Uttara Paye Tad Anantara Apayat Apavargaha. He has given in Nyaya Shastra a sutra for the process of obtaining moksha or the Brahma Prapti. What is the sutra? Dukkha Janma Pravrutti Dosha Mithya Jnanam Uttara Uttara Apaye. One by one, when one is lost, the second is lost, then third is lost. Uttara Uttara Apaye Tad Anantaram Apayat. After all these are gone, Apavargaha. That means all these are gone and Brahma is there. Apavargaha means removal of all anatma things, automatically Atman is there. So what is this Mithya Jnanam? The first Mithya Jnanam is Deha Tadatmya. I am the body is Mithya Jnanam. How do you destroy that? By Yathartha Jnanam. Moment that happens, then what happens? Deha Tadatmyata, dosh is gone. So Mithya Jnana Nasha, dosha Nasha. After that, Asakti Rupa Pravrutti gets destroyed. So Pravrutti of Asakti, desire, gets destroyed. Then what happens? There is a Nasha, Punarjanma Nasha. So there is Punarjanma Nasha happens. And then Dukkha Samula Nasha happens. So Mithya Jnanam Dosha Pravrutti Janma Dukkha Uttara Apaye Tad Anantaram Apayat Upavargaha. Then comes the question, is Brahma something to be obtained? Prapta, that is called Sampad or Apadya. You obtain something. I don't have a thing, so I will have to obtain that thing. Is Brahma Prapti something like this? I am an incomplete man, sensuous person. I am in the hands of senses. That is why I am not able to grapple or grab the Brahma. So I have to do something whereby I will obtain that. For example, I have a Jagrut Avastha, Nidra Avastha, Swapna Avastha. So I have to try to obtain another Avastha. Is Brahma Jnana something similar to that? So it is not. The meditation or the dhyanam is done to do sampadana, achieve a state of Brahma. No, it is not sampadya. How do you do the sampad? Sampad or sampadyata is done by two methods. When you take an inferior thing and implant a superior thing on that, it is called sampad. When do we do that? Every day in our worship or the archana, we have the murti of the Bhagavan, whichever, Vishnu, Narayana, whatever it is. Actually, Narayana is supposed to be all-pervading tattva, fine. But we bring that Narayana into a metal which is barely half a feet tall, murti. And every day we do the archana. What are we doing? Nikrushte Utkrushta Buddhi. That metal is Nikrushta. But in that metal, by doing some human shape, we try to bring Vishnu Bhagavan into it and use it for upasana. Shaligram is a stone. But by implanting the concept that Vishnu is there in Shaligram, we are doing what is called as Sampad or Pratika Upasana. Pratika Upasana means Nikrushte Utkrushta Buddhi. That which is inferior, the superior is implanted upon it. That is actually the basis of all the murtis that you have everywhere in this world. Tirupati Balaji is a stone. In But for us, moment we go there, we say Balaji. The reason is the higher is implanted on the lower. Why it is done? So that by that imagination, that sankalpana, we will be able to slowly meditate upon that stone, but thinking it as the Vishnu or the Narayana or the Balaji, we will slowly start exalting ourselves through the process of meditation into the giant aspect of the Lord. This is what is done in Upasana. Is Brahmadhyan something similar? That you consider Brahma into that stone and then keep thinking as Brahma, Brahma, so that you will become Brahmibhuta? No. Upasana, by imposing superior on the inferior, will help you to take the flights into higher level of consciousness. See, sense organs, we all are using 5 sense organs and we are getting the knowledge of this world. Yet, our senses are not finely developed. At a crude development, we understand the world. As you start making the senses super refined, you start understanding the higher aspect of the creation. Still you are in sensuous world, but higher aspects. When the mind as the 6th indriya is purified, then the sensuous perception level goes up and higher perceptions start dawning upon you. These higher perceptions, they keep on varying as you go further and further and further. As an arthavad or as a general concept for understanding, these are called saptalokas. Bhu, bhuvaha, suvaha, mahaha, janaha, tapaha, satyalokaha. What does it mean by that? Higher and higher level of perception because of refinement in sense organs, including mind, happening through the meditation. But for this, what you're doing meditation. Meditation on what? On some object, thinking that this object is the almighty object. So what is the phalam? Phalam is you go towards the higher and higher levels. And while going through higher and higher level, then you reach the highest level called Brahma. Is that the process? No. Shankaracharya is emphasizing that Upasana may help you to go into supersensuous stages, but Brahma is not obtained by this karma also. This karma may help to reach there, but Brahma is not obtained. It is already existing. This process helps you in removing the coverings. So this is called Sampad. Then what happens to the one who is doing this Sampad or Pratik Upasana? As his flight of consciousness goes upwards and upwards, a Shruti in Bruhadaranyaka Upanishad says, Anantam vai mano ananta vishwadeva anantam eva satena loka jayati. Minds are infinite and so the Vishwadeva are also infinite. Through the meditation, one wins the infinite world. What does that mean? From my own 5 short senses with which I am behaving, now because of my Pratika Upasana, I'll start moving upper and upper layers and I shall start merging with multiple minds. Merging with multiple minds is slowly getting the omniscient state. I know myself, I know all the people around me, their minds. If I know their minds, naturally I'm an elevated person. So it is merging of minds of all, Hiranyagarbha and Vaishwanara or Vishwadeva. Sum total of all the gross bodies of the world, sum total of all the minds of the world, and sum total of all the Karan Shariras of the world. Higher the flight, larger the body, larger the mind complex, larger the ability to know. So this is what happens in meditation of Sampada Swarupa or Pratika Swarupa. However, this is not what gives Brahma. This helps in reaching the Brahma, but not the Brahma. Nacha adhyasa rupam. Na sampada rupam, nacha adhyasa rupam. What is adhyasa rupam? You can consider Bhagavan Vishnu in Shaligram. So Nikrushte Utkrushta Buddhi. Or you can do reverse also. You can consider Bhagavan Vishnu as yourself. I am not Bhagavan Vishnu, but I consider Bhagavan Vishnu as me. Utkrushte Nikrushta Buddhi. This is called Aham Graha Upasana. Tapovan Maharaj did this. If you read Tapovan Maharaj's biography, his Upasana was Aham Graha Upasana. In Aham Graha Upasana, you don't need any murti or anything. You think you are Vishnu. Not an easy Upasana. You do meditation on yourself as Vishnu. One of the difficult type of sadhana. It is called Ahangra Upasana or Adhyasa. Adhyasa Rupa Sadhana. Adhyasa is Adhyaropit. Vishnu is Adhyaropit on me. You can also do it as Prana is me, Surya is me. We can do that. Mano Brahma iti upasit adityo Brahma iti adeshaha. Chandogya Upanishad. Chandogya Upanishad is talking about this upasana. That is why Sampad Brahma is not something to be meditated upon and obtained. It is not utpadya. You don't create a Brahma. So it is not sampadya or apadya, not utpadya. It is not vikarya. It is not that you change something from something and you will get it. It is not utpadya means a clay is made into mud and mud is made into pot. So a pot is utpadya out of the mud. Brahma is not something that can be made into from something. Because from anatma things, atma thing cannot be made. So it is not utpadya. Anatma things can be obtained. To obtain something, to do praptavyata, two are required. Brahma is only one. So who is there to obtain something? So it is not apadya, sampadya, utpadya. A milk becomes yogurt. It is called vikara. There is a vikara in the milk, so it becomes yogurt. So is a Brahmi Bhuta Avastha a vikara in our avastha? No. So it is not vikarya. Is it samskarya? What is samskarya? You can use the Agni to do the samskar of Agni on the coal or the wood, and heat is produced. This is called Agni samskar on the wood to produce the heat. So is there anything that I have to do some samskar on me as an individual so that I can get Brahma as an effect? No. So it is not samskarya. What it means in short is Brahma Prapti is neither sampadya or apadya, nor utpadya, nor samskarya, nor vikarya. And karma is of only four types. Either you obtain something, you manufacture something, you change something, or you transform something. There is no other karma possible in this world. All the krutis or the karmas done in the world by us, by anybody, only fall in these four categories. Either you get a new phalam, sampadya, or you manufacture something by taking two things together, third is formed, or you do samskarya. You take the mineral ore and create a mineral out of it. You do samskar, you remove the dirt, and then the steel is produced or gold is produced, samskarya. Or you do vikaryata, you take milk and make yogurt. So the only possible karmas available in this world are sampadyata or apadyata, utpadyata, samskaryata, and vikaryata. All these four karmas do not apply to Brahma at all. So, bringing back the punaravritti, which is called abhyasa. In Shastra, one theme is repeated again and again. That is one of the linga of Shastra. It is called abhyas. Abhyas means repetition of same thing again and again. As you must have seen in every pravachana, we keep repeating same thing, that it is not karma, it is only without karma. Brahma is not karma, Brahma is not karma prapti. Why? Because it needs to be repeated as the sign of the Shadlingas that is required. That is why, by this logic, by that logic, by this proposition, by that proposition, Acharya is trying to tell us that karma cannot give Brahma. It can be only as an adjuvant, as an accessory, as a facilitator, as a catalyst it can work, but karma doesn't give Brahma Prapti. And that is the reason the sentence Mahavakya Aham Brahmasmi does not speak a word about karma. It is direct realization at a point where he says, I am Brahma. I am Atma Brahma. Aham Brahmasmi. This is a realization. It has no relationship with any prior procedure because it is ever existing. It is not something that comes after some time. It was there, it is there. In fact, it is the only thing that is there. Rest, everything is impermanent. Only the reality is permanent. So removing the impermanence is not creating the permanence. Removing impermanence is required only to see the permanence, because permanence is always permanent. Antim Satya is always there. Anruta, Anatma is to be removed. All the karmas are dedicated only to that. What are the further arguments given by Acharya on this fourth sutra? We shall see in the next session. Hari Om. Om Purnamada Purnam Midam Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo. Harihi Om.
Hari Om.
Hare Krishna. Dr. Seb, I want to ask one question. Is there any difference between meditation and dhyan?
No. And the word for that is crudely used as meditation. They are one and the same.
But as per the Patanjali Sutra, the first dharana comes and then we go to dhyan. But this is very crude definition. Not for the dhyan, but meditation is a very crudely used word. But is there any particular difference between dhyan and meditation?
Meditation is actually a very lame word used to describe a conglomerate. The stratification or the classification or the separation is properly done scientifically in Patanjali Yoga Sutras. Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. These are three different stages in meditation. The English word meditation covers everything under one word because they don't have a word for dharana separate. They don't have a word for samadhi. So they call it collectively as meditation because English language falls short in describing these stages. But in Patanjali Yoga Sutra, dharana is clearly defined. Pratyahar, dharana, dhyan, and samadhi. These are increasingly developmental stages having different characteristics at each stage. So those are completely different. Meditation is a loose word describing all these processes. Meditation would mean dhyan, meditation would mean dharana, meditation would mean samadhi also, because there's no separate word for that given in English. But contemplation. Now, contemplation is one word which can also mean manana, or which can also mean dharana. So there is no specificity in English words. That is why we will have to use the Sanskrit words to know the correct meaning of the word. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om, Sanjay ji. This something cannot be generated out of nothing. This Buddhist theory again, there is no logic we can find. How can you generate something out of nothing? We are seeing something here. We are perceiving everything, and when you say it is coming from nothingness, there is no logic in that, isn't it? I think we have discussed this earlier also. What is the logic behind and why they are thinking in these lines? This is really disturbing.
The argument in Buddhist, given in Buddhist, although wrong, although proved wrong by Vedantis, it's not a very lame logic, it's a strong logic. When we say something cannot come out of nothing, they question whether the something has come or not.
Oh, okay.
Suppose the existence, then you can say that how can something come from nothing? But something itself has no presence. Kanikavad says everything is changing every microsecond. That means it's not existing. You may feel your inability to perceive the nothingness leads you to believe that there is something. And then you say that something cannot come from nothing. But something itself is not existing. To feel that it is existing, it is an apparent existence. When such an apparent existence is there, that means nothingness is the argument and the logic. So it is not only a mere negative connotation. Shunyavad is not a very weak theory. It is one of the strong theory. That is why Shankaracharya called Buddhist as Pradhana Malla, chief wrestler. Shankaracharya spent most of his energy in arguing against Buddhist simply because the argument from the other side were equally strong. Yes, Vedanta wins because of a complete 360 liter of positive existence versus negative non-existence. Nihilism versus existentialism. There is something existing there. Not existentialism, but existence. There is something there. Absolute nothing there. These are absolutely poles apart theories, but founded in a very strong manner. So something cannot come out of nothing is true when something has come out is considered to be true, and what is seen as something has given some reality. If something has no reality, then from nothingness, nothing has come. That
But I am the feeling, I am existing. The feeling that I exist is always there.
what
Hariom, Rajendranji, please unmute yourself after question because it is not clear what Sanjayji speaks.
You see, I exist is a feeling that you feel you have. But the construct that I exist also may be equally non-permanent. Since I exist would come only when I is proved. In the theoretical discussions of the Shunyavada, the I itself is what? Bhuta Sanghata. Assemblage of everything ultimately leading to a formation of I. And all the assemblage, the parts and the particles with which you are made and you are made into I, they themselves are non-permanent. So if the bhut is non-permanent, bhut sanghat has to be also non-permanent. So your I exist also is a non-permanent thinking or non-permanent thought. Theoretical level, we say I exist. The way it got defeated by Vedanta is only when at a stage of Brahmavidta, the existence that was perceived in the form of Sat, which actually could not be described by the Jivan Muktas, because Shankaracharya was of that stature, he could come and refute, saying that no, I reached there and there is no nothingness there is something there, that is existence or astitva. But at a normal level, even today, when you say that I exist is a positive feeling, but that's our mental construct. The feeling that I exist, which you get at the time of Brahma Prapti, is completely different than what because we say only as a Paroksha Jnana, I exist. In fact, everybody feels I exist, even in this world. This is not the existence that they are referring to. Pure existence is something which is felt without any external support. Swasamvedyata. I exist is today our statement I exist depends upon he and I. I exist, that feeling which is expected in this statement is based on swasamvedyata. So is there anything which has samvedyata at that last point or not, is the controversy between Shunyavadi. Shunyavadi says even swasamvedyata is also not there. Nothing is there is the only reality according to me. But everything else is unreal, but there is something which is real, is the purport of Vedanta. Hari Om.
Hari Om. The one more question is there. Nikrishta Utkrishta Buddhi, that is the first son you said. And what is the second one? Did you say that or I missed it?
Second is Utkrishta Nikrushta Buddhi, bringing Lord Krishna at my level. This is Krishna's body. This is
okay.
Brought Utkrishta into it. That is called Aham Graha. That is my Grahyata. Aham. So this is called Aham Graha Upasana. Tapovan Maharaj did this Upasana thinking him as Shiva. And he succeeded in that. Hari Om.
Thank you. Thank you. Hari Om.
Buddhi is the only sadhan that we have, or rather the best sadhan that we have to do our sadhana. And Buddhi basically goes, or rather gets elevated when the sadhana, when we keep doing sadhana. So there are different stages of Buddhi, Prajna, Rutumbara. At the Rutumbara stage of Buddhi, is it right to say the realization of Brahma is achieved, or it is complete retirement of Buddhi, post which only this sense or this realization of Swasavedya Avastha can be achieved?
Rutambara Buddhi is not the state of achievement of Brahma Prapti. Rutambara Buddhi is again an Indriya, most refined but yet existing in the creation. Creation means something which is bound by time and space. Brahma Prapti or Brahma is beyond the creation. So in Rutambara Buddhi state, the Rutambara Buddhi has the knowledge of everything around it and has the knowledge that it has the knowledge of everything. I'll again repeat the statement. Rutambara Buddhi has knowledge of everything and has the knowledge that it has the knowledge of everything. This second part, if you drop off, you are beyond time and space. Swasamvednyata is you are aware, knowledgeable, you are the master of everything, yet you are not aware of it. It is happening to you as your nature. I am my body is our current state. I don't have to repeat it every day that I am Dr. Jadhav. I have it ingrained in me. I don't have to do any special effort to know that, am I Dr. Jadhav? No, it is already embedded in me. When you are needed to be reminded or when you become aware of anything, that still means you are in duality or Bheda Avastha. Even at Rutambara Buddhi, the fact that I am omniscient, omnipotent, and awareness of that still makes me within the space and time bound area. So Brahma, not Brahma, but Brahmadeva Prapti, or the highest of the Deva. Deva means enlightened. Enlightenment can be what can be maximum, to know everything of this universe. As the Vamadeva Rishi said, I am the sun, I am the Manu, because his expansion of buddhi went to such a level that he was able to understand everything, including the whole world, the universe, Tara, Vyuha, Jnanam, everything, sun, because he went beyond the sun. In the sense, even when sun was not there, he could come to know about that. So he said, I am the sun, because he could see himself as transforming. It is basically widening. But even at that age, aham, that perception that I know, I am aware. So that being aware is replaced by pure awareness. That is Swasamvedyata, which is when Rutambara Buddhi also dissolves, because Rutambara Buddhi means again an classification, identification. All identities have to dissolve. When you take the doll of a salt and put it near the water, at the time when it is dissolving, first her feet will dissolve, but her head is still there. We don't say that she is completely dissolved. When you completely immerse the doll of salt in the water, then there is no doll at all. When the Ganga goes into the sea, while entering, she still knows that I am entering the sea, but after the entrance, she is not aware of her own existence. She is sea, the ocean. That is the difference between Rutambara Buddhi and Brahma Prapti. Hari Om.